Hey guys, welcome to the first session in basic drafting. So the first part of the course is going to be on AutoCAD and the second part is going to be on Revit. So you need to get your hands on the AutoCAD and Revit softwares. So you need to go to the Autodesk website, sign up with a student account and download the free student software. So you need to download AutoCAD and Revit. Revit, you can wait until the second part of the course, but straight away you'll need to get AutoCAD. You'll need these for your home computers, but if you're just planning to do it at TAFE, just use the computers there, and that will be okay. So once you've downloaded and installed AutoCAD on your computer, this is what it's going to look like. Now the best way to learn drawing is just by drawing. So let's click over here and start drawing. Now the way these sessions are going to work is in this pre-recording, I'll go through skills or tools or whatever it is in the software, and then we'll go into the class. I'll give you a task sheet with some drawings on it, and you have to complete those tasks and I'll be able to help you through it. So please make sure you've watched these pre-recordings before getting to the class, and the semester should run pretty smoothly. Now AutoCAD is can be seen as just a really super accurate pen and paper. Okay, now it's in a Cartesian plane, so it's in X and Y coordinates. So if I scroll backwards, so obviously with the mouse, with the little ring, you can scroll forwards, we'll zoom in, scroll backwards, we'll zoom out. It's not as impressive at the moment. When we get more drawings on here, it will all kind of make sense. Okay, now a lot of these functions in CAD we will learn as we start to produce drawings. Okay, so we'll go through some basic stuff today, but as we start to build up our drawings, you'll start to become more and more familiar where things are. So don't stress if it takes you a bit longer to start off with. It will all come out in the wash. All right, we'll get there. Now the first thing we're going to deal with is the Cartesian coordinates. So we don't really use these too much, snapping on points, but it can be done. So what I mean by that is this first point here is obviously the origin, which is 0, 0. So if I click on a line, CAD or all of our softwares will always ask us, hey, what do you want to do? So here it's asking me to specify the first point. So this number here, the 2254.5422, that is the X direction. The 1621.3721, that's the Y direction. So to basically snap the first point into the origin, I want to type in 0, 0. Okay, enter. Alright, and what that's done is that has snapped the first point of this line in the origin. So moving the mouse around, not clicking on anything, that first point there is fixed. I can't change it now. All I'm changing is the second point. And that's what CAD's asking me. Specify the next point. So the first number here it's giving me, this 8245.7, that is the X direction in CAD. So if I want that to be, say, 3000, alright, comma. Now that line there is exactly 3000 at any point in the X direction. Okay, now what it's asking me is to specify the Y direction. So if I specify, say, 1000, enter. Okay, now it's going to start another line from the endpoint. Just going to click escape to get out of that. Now this line here starts at the origin, starts at 0, 0. We've come across 3000, we've come up 1000. Okay, so that's how we draw this first line in here. Like I said, we don't really use this too much. Quite often we'll just start drawing, say, over here and start, but you can do it if you have to. Okay, so if I go with a line, I'm just going to click over here. So specify the first point, as opposed to putting in a coordinate, I can click here and I can start drawing. Alright, so obviously I can click, if I click here, that line is 8003.4 .4563 units. Engineering is always in millimeters, so all of our drawings are going to be in millimeters. So if I want this line to be, say, 5,000, alright, that's 5,000 millimeters, or 5 meters. Okay, so if that's how long I want it to be, I type it in, I click enter. Alright, now that line, I click escape. This line here is exactly 5,000 millimeters, or 5 meters long. Alright, now this line here probably isn't straight. Okay, so all I've done is I've gone with a line, I've gone from here to here. Alright, now that looks straight, but it isn't. Okay, if I pay real close attention to it, it's not straight. Okay, we can kind of see the small discrepancy in it, and especially this one. Focusing this line, there's a greater distance here compared to here. Now this is going to be a very common issue in a lot of your drawings, is our lines most of the time, a good 99.8% of the time, have to be straight. Now the way that we're going to achieve these straight lines is by using this thing here, which is our ortho. Okay, it basically just makes us go in right angles, so up, down, left or right. We have no other option. So if I click on this one with a line, if I click here, now I can go right, I can go straight down, I can go left, or I can go up. It will not let me go on angles. Okay, so these lines here will always be straight. So if I go 5,000, enter, click escape, alright, this line here is dead straight and exactly 5 meters long. Okay, to delete any of these lines, I can either click on it and click delete on the keyboard. I can click this button here, which is an erase. So I click erase, it's now asking me select the objects. So select the objects that you want to get rid of. So I want to get rid of that one. Okay, now here my command is erase selected objects. I've clicked one of them. If I want to delete it, I click enter, and that will delete it. Okay, now same one here, I'll just click on it and go delete. Now let's go again with the line. Let's click up here. Alright, let's come across, making sure this ortho is still on, so it's still straight lines. Let's come across 1000. Let's come straight down, say 600. Let's come straight across, say 750. And let's come up 400. Enter. Okay, escape, and that will get rid of that. Now these lines I've put in 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. Now if I click one of them, it only clicks that first line that I've drawn. So it's not picking them all up. So these are discontinuous lines. Okay. Now if I go with a polyline, draw the exact same shape. So polyline, let's start, roughly here. Let's come across 1000. Let's come down 600. Let's come across 800. Let's come up 400. Enter. Okay, now to finish it, escape. So same shape. I think I made a little difference here, but that's okay. Now if I click this one, everything comes together. So a polyline is a continuous line. The line function is just single discontinued lines. Okay. Now to select all of these, I can either click them one by one. Okay, that will select them all. The issue with that is if this is a very busy drawing and I want to pick many lines, there's going to be very fiddly zooming in, clicking this one, zooming back out, clicking that one. So we have to come up with a better way. So to pick all of these lines, this selection cursor is very useful. As opposed to clicking one at a time, if I click here, Now if I go from right to left, it's going to show me a green box. Okay, so it's green. Now everything this green box touches, it will select. Okay, so what I mean by that is, if I click through here, it crosses 1, 2, 3 lines. So all 3 of them will select. So 1, 2, 3. We didn't touch this one here, so it won't pick. So I'll show you that again. So I click from here. Alright, if I click just these 2, we missed here and here, so it only selects the one it touches. Now if I go from left to right, so if I go from, here, it's blue. Now if I try to click here, I can try as many times as I like, it's not going to select it, whereas this one will. Now to select with the blue, again it becomes very useful as we'll learn down the track. To select the blue, the entire element that you want to pick has to be selected. So if I select here, you can see it. I'm looking at this middle line here. It hasn't selected because the entire line isn't covered by the blue box. So as I move further down, you'll see eventually it will highlight. There it is. Okay, so that line is now fully covered by the blue box. I can now select it. Whereas the polyline is different. This polyline is now one complete shape. So this entire line here is one line. So if I go from here, even if I come from here, I can't select it at all. Okay, but if I go from here with the green, because I've touched the line, this is all one line, the whole thing selects. Okay, the other thing is you'll see is these blue nodes that I've highlighted. That's if I want to move these lines or extend them. So if I click on this one, I can move that down, say 200. Okay, this one here, if I click on it, I can move it up, 100. Oh, sorry, that's the entire length. So it's very important to see where it's measured from. That dotted line there will show where it's measured from. So if I want to make that line now 700, okay, so we can fiddle around with these 2. Okay, but that's basically the line and polyline functions done. Okay, circle, if I click this bottom arrow here, I get all these different points of it, but usually center and radius is okay. So if I just click on the circle function here, specify the center point. Alright, for now it's not crucial because we're just going through the functions. As we go through, you'll learn that we can snap and we can place these things in certain spots. Just for now, I'm going to click here. Anywhere in the CAD drawing is fine. Now what you can see is this dashed line here, this brown dashed line, or yellow dashed line, depending on how it's looking on your computer. Mine's saying 562.9908. Alright, that's the radius. So if I type this in, if I say 300, okay, enter. Now what's going to give me is the actual diameter is obviously twice of that, which is 600. Okay, if I come back with a circle, if I click once, if I start dragging out, if I don't want to select that, what I can do is I can click the down key on the keyboard and I can pick the diameter. Okay, so I'll do that again. Circle, specify the center point, so just clicking anywhere. Coming back out, click the down key on the keyboard. The first one is just going to mirror what I drew before, or I can select the diameter, which is going to give me the overall. Alright, so what that's asking me now is the actual diameter of that circle. You can see the dotted lines, the grey dotted lines, is that measurement. So if I want this one to be the same as the other one, the diameter is 600. Okay, so it draws the same. Arcs, we don't really use too much. We'll touch base on these as we do a couple more complicated drawings. But we'll look at the rectangle. Okay, so rectangle, I'll draw over here now. So again, specifying the first point, as opposed to using the Cartesian coordinates, I'm just going to click somewhere on here. Alright, so what I can do is, if I want this to be, say, 750 by 300, so obviously the first number I enter in is the one that's currently highlighted in blue, which is the X direction, or the width of that rectangle. So 7, let's go 700, alright, comma, and now to specify the other point, which is the height. If I want that to be, say, 350, enter, this is what I get. So this rectangle here is 700 wide and 300 or 350 high. Okay, now if I want to move this shape, I'll select it. So I'll use the green, and the move function is this one. Okay, so I select what I want to move, click move. Now what this is doing is CAD is asking you to specify a base point. Now what this is a reference point on where to move from. As we become a bit more proficient in drawings, this will become easier and make more sense. But what you'll find is it doesn't really matter where you select. Okay, so if I select here, so specify the base point, which is the starting point. So if I click here, if I move straight down, okay, if I want that to move, say, 1,000 down, I just start typing. So 1,000, enter. Now it's 1,000 down from where it was. Okay, if I want to move it again, I'll show you we can move it from all kinds of different points. I can move it from over here if I wanted to. So I want to move it here, 1,000 up. Okay, it's exactly where it was before. So whether I start from here or start from here, it's just a reference point. Okay, this will start to make more sense as we do more drawings. We've got this copy button here, a copy function. So if I want to copy this one, I can select it, I can copy. Again, specifying a base point, doesn't really matter. We'll just start over here for now. So click anywhere, start moving down. We're going to move down, say 600, enter, and that will give me a second rectangle here. Okay. Another thing that's really important on CAD is the snapping functions that CAD has. So down here, I have this snap cursor to 2D reference points. Click on the arrow next to it, and this is what I get. I have all of them selected. So endpoint, midpoint, center, geometric center, node, quadrant, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Now these probably all look like gibberish at the moment. Let's have a look. So the endpoint. Okay, so an endpoint, sorry, looking at this, shows as a square at the end of a line. The midpoint is obviously the halfway point. Center of a shape, the geometric center, these can be different. We will learn this, okay? It's to do with the centroid of the shapes. Node, which was when I clicked this line, we had the blue points, one in the middle, top and bottom. Quadrants, okay, extensions, blah, blah, blah. These will all become more clear as we do different drawings, okay? But I'll show you what these do. So if I come here with a line, now it said I could snap an endpoint. So if I look at this line here, all right, now I have this nearest that comes up. If I keep moving along, okay, now it becomes an endpoint. So if I click on it, what this is doing, and then I'll come down, say 450, enter, escape. Now that endpoint, if I zoom right in, it makes sure that these lines actually connect. Okay, so this endpoint is right where that line ends. So super accurate. They're touching. If I want the midpoint, I'll go to the midpoint of this rectangle. So I know that this is 750 wide, so the midpoint should be 375. So line, and the midpoint is a triangle. Okay, it will tell you that's the midpoint. So I can click, move down 600, enter, escape. So that line there is dead center to this line here. Okay, line again. If I just touch this line, I get this appear in the middle, and that there is the center of the rectangle. Okay, so it's 375 in the X, and then I think that was 300, so that's 150 high. So that point there is the geometric center of the rectangle. Okay, escape. So these snappings are going to become very useful, as we'll find out as we produce and start drawing more and more things. Okay, but for now we're just learning some functions of CAD, and then in class when I see you guys, I'll give you a task sheet and we'll start to build up these skills a bit better. Up here I have a rotation. Okay, so to rotate anything that I want, so line, I'll just draw a line over here. So here I'll come across, say 900, enter, escape. Remember, my ortho is still on, and there is good reason for this. Everything I'll do, or 99.8% of what we do is all straight lines. So to rotate this, I will select it. This time I'll select the whole thing this way, just for a bit of variance. Click rotate. Now what it's asking me for is to specify the base point. Now this is something you will get used to as time goes on, but when we rotate, it's not good practice to click over here somewhere. We want to kind of specify where we want to rotate from. So I want to rotate from this endpoint, so I click on the endpoint. So the endpoint will always show me a box, the midpoint will always show me a triangle. Okay, so endpoint, click it. Now what it's asking me is to specify the rotation angle. Okay, so specify, if I come back here, specify angle of rotation. So if I want to rotate this, say 32 degrees, 32, enter. So this line from the X plane is 32 degrees. Okay, so likewise, if I drew a line, I'll draw another line from this endpoint straight across, say 1000, enter. So if I want another one this side, I can click, rotate from this endpoint. If I go -32, enter, I get it going the other direction. Oops, sorry, that was 900, that's fine. Okay, so that's what I get. Now I can undo it, so undo, or Control Z will do it as well. And the cool thing is, what I can also do is mirror. I have a mirror function in CAD. So if I click this line, I can go mirror. Alright, now what it's asking me for is to specify the first point of the mirror line. So I'm going to click this endpoint here. Now what it's asking me for is to specify the second mirror line. So if I click this endpoint here, alright, so what it's done is it's drawn in this line here. So it's basically rotate or flip this around based on here to here. Do I want to erase the source object? So what CAD's saying now is, okay, I've now put this line exactly where you want it. Do you want me to delete this line? If I go yes, it will delete this line. If I go no, it will keep it here. So let's go no. So that keeps this line here where it is. Okay. Awesome. So now we've gone through just a couple of different functions. there's just one more that I'm going to touch on for now, and then what we'll do is when I see you guys in a few hours time or in your session, I'll give you some drawings to go through and I'll help you get through them. Okay, so let's come zoom in here somewhere. Rectangle, specify a point. So I'm just going to click from turn my ortho back on, make sure it's on. So I'm going to click from here. Oops, sorry, escape, ortho's on, rectangle from here, that's better. So I'm going to draw a rectangle in, and I want this rectangle to be 350, comma, say 600. Enter. Okay. So this is the rectangle that I'm after. Now, what I want to do with this rectangle is I want to draw another rectangle inside of it, sitting in here. Okay. Now this rectangle that I want to sit in here, I want to be exactly 30 units or 30 millimeters away from here. Now what I can do is I could come through, I could draw another rectangle. You know, if this here is 350 by 350 by 600, I could draw it, you know, 320 by 570 and then move it in. Or what I can do is offset, which is this button here. Now what this is saying it will create the exact object at a distance. So it will recreate it at a specified distance. So I click on this one, specify offset distance. So I want to offset 30 millimeters. Enter. Select an object. Okay, so select the object to offset. I want to select this rectangle and I want to move it in, so towards the center of the shape. I can move it outwards, but I want to move it in, and then I click again. Escape. So what this does is this creates a rectangle inside of another rectangle. Okay, or offsets the same shape, just brings it in by that distance. Okay, so this here is exactly 30 millimeters from all sides. Alright, now what I'll do is circle. I'll click over here somewhere. So I click once, make it wider, specifying the radius. I'm going to specify a radius of say 12. Enter. Now it's very small compared to this, but that's okay. So let's click on it, come to our move function. Now let's zoom in a bit. Now what I want to do is, remember these here are the quadrant snaps that CAD has. So if I look at my snap functions quadrant, this is what's snapping. So top, bottom, right, left. So clicking the bottom quadrant, okay, I'm going to place this on the midpoint of this line here. So this line here, coming across to find the midpoint, which is here, and I click. Now we'll put it exactly down the bottom here. Okay. Now if I click on it, I can copy from this quadrant straight across. Alright, this here, this little right angle is the perpendicular snap that CAD has inbuilt into it. So I can click here, escape, and that will put a second one or a second circle on this line. Alright, now to put one on this side, I can click here, so select, I'll just escape. I'm just trying to select this circle, so I can just select it like this, copy it to this side, so from this quadrant to here. Escape. So I have 3 circles sitting on this internal rectangle. Okay. So if I look here, with these, I can turn them off. So if I want to turn off these quadrants, I can untick it. Okay. Now, it won't let me. It will let me pick perpendicular, but notice I can't grab these quadrants anymore. Okay. That's because I've turned it off. So I've turned it back on, quadrant. Okay, now I can pick them again. So if there's a reason that you can't snap some part of an object, just double check and make sure you haven't turned it off by accident. Escape. Alright, so now I've got 3 of them down the bottom. I'm going to put 3 of them up top. So as opposed to, copying or redrawing it, I can just copy them all up. So the options that I have is I can copy or I can mirror. I know this is a symmetrical shape, so I can mirror. So I can either select all of these. So just covering the circles will let me select them. I can copy. I can copy from this quadrant, moving straight up until I touch this top line or this midpoint. Escape. So that will put them up here. Or what I can do, which is a bit quicker, I'm just going to click this one and click this one. Going to go mirror. Now mirror is about an axis. Okay, so I select the line or the mirror line. Alright, what I'm trying to find here is the midpoint. So if I mirror from this midpoint straight across to this one, okay, don't erase the source object, no. It puts them straight up exactly to where they were down here. Alright, so what this does is this just saves me time. Being a symmetrical object, it really helps. Okay, now this may not look like much, but what this actually is a doubly reinforced concrete beam. Alright, all shown in a couple of lines. Alright, so what I might do is I'll stop the recording now, and I'll give you guys a task sheet when I see you. And we'll keep going on drawing just a couple of basic shapes and things like that. Alright, so thanks guys. I look forward to seeing you in class.